Pretty good day at the stable. All things considered, I mean, Columbus, fastest mile of his life, and you can see he's now starting to turn into a better mannered horse, a smarter horse. Still hasn't mastered the faster horse yet, but is a little more pliable than he was at the start of the year. And you guys are seeing, when I had moved to sell Columbus, why? These are the things. You still have to do things right, but be fast. And it's so hard. It's a feast or famine type industry sometimes where, we're after talented horses that can fill up our team. And that doesn't mean that Columbus isn't a useful horse. He's just not a real fast horse still, but did his work as good as no. It was the best race of his life. He did his work better than he ever did today. So I was proud of him in that regard. Anytime you see horses feel like they're trying, they're coming forward and doing their work and excelling at it, you can't help but be happy, right? Obviously, you guys knew that What a Mission was scratch day. He's fine. He's perfectly fine. But he was a little colicky yesterday, and the medication that the veterinarians had to give him to make sure that he was okay and that didn't escalate was far too close to the race to race him, so we had to scratch him. And then, I knew she could run, but she couldn't hide. Smoking Hot Irish Girl. We went a different way last week. We made some significant shoeing changes, little bit of equipment changes with her. I didn't know how she'd get over the surface. After I warmed her up and scored her down, I knew she was ready to go, that she felt really good. Didn't get away as well as we did, but coming off 2 breaks in the first turn, I'm confident. I'm not certain. I'm confident she's okay. But the one thing she did learn as a racehorse, and both these fillies are learning quite a bit, the one thing she did learn as a racehorse is how to sit patiently and wait. And man, when I called on her around the last turn, we only went in 2 minutes. That sucked for the other filly. They had to go so fast, but we only went in 2 minutes, and she did it very, very easily. She could have handled 57, no problem, especially over that track. It's so fast. But 2 minutes. Last quarter had to be 28 in a piece, I would imagine, for Smoking Hot Irish Girl. Finally, a step in the right direction. Most importantly, she had to win to get in. She had to win to get in the consolation, and she did quite convincingly. So I'm not worried about anybody in that division. If she brings the game she brought today, she's as good as any filly in the consolation. I can assure you of that. Actually, she might make the consolation too. She only has a couple of points, but I don't know. She's as good as anybody in the Buckeye final. I'm certain of that. And then Coupe de Ville didn't make the final, but made the consolation. They have a consolation this year, but learned. I wish I had been able to just dump her in the 2-hole and then race her like we race Smoking Hot Irish Girl, but those were both Beaver's horses, I believe, sitting 1-2. I thought that Aaron would probably take a bite out of me. In a perfect world, float over to the front, 28-2, 28-3, let her idle over the half, 59, 58-4, and I think they have a tough time beating me if you do that. She was smart today. She didn't tighten the line. She was all business today. She did the best she could. She gets stretched 27-3, and if you notice, she tucks her head quite a bit. So she's not the type of horse that you can just cinch her up and get her over the half in a minute. And the other thing is, with an ear hood on, we're trying to teach her how to race a little bit. And I know putting her on the front, you might say, well, you didn't teach her much today. Yes, we did. We did teach her a lot. She was good at the gate. She wasn't aggressive like she was at the fair in the first turn. I actually had to pick at her to get over to the front. Now we were going 27-3, so of course. But the TSN turning point, so to speak, from a Canadian standpoint, was when Aaron came out of the 2-hole early. If they leave me alone to the head of the lane, Brett maybe beats me, but I don't know if Aaron beats me, but we're close. We're right across the track. And instead, Aaron pushed me where she was still a little uncomfortable, still in the turn, running in a bit, touched herself a little bit. I had to use a lot of energy to get through that last turn on the lead, where if they had left me alone till the head of the lane, who knows? Maybe they don't beat her. She raced good. She just got beat for third, held on for fourth, and I didn't see the line, but I'm assuming she trotted 58, 57 in a piece. A big mile for Coupe de Ville today, and as I said, both those fillies have improved, matured, and grown. Both of them. Very proud of all the horses today. Even Columbus. Here's a horse that, maybe I'm wrong, maybe he's just not as good as I thought he was. He felt like he tried today. He felt like he'd come on down the lane, so he's improving at the gate, in the hole. There was a time where if you tried to race Columbus in an open bridle, you know, today he was a little funny going on the track. He's got an open bridle on. Here's the fair, flags, people everywhere. He didn't know whether to order cotton candy or shit himself. He was very timid in the post parade, but when we got behind the gate, he focused. In the race, was focused. I moved him 3 deep down the lane. He was coming on. He was trying. You can't ask much more than that from any athlete, horse or otherwise. So, and regardless of what we want him to be or thought or think he should be, it is what it is. And the horse he felt to me, I got to be honest, he felt like he did everything he could. So I was very proud of everybody today. We've had a fantastic week this week. I think 4 wins. 4 wins already this week. We haven't been any worse than 4th with any of our horses. It's been a good week. Tomorrow, I think we're 8 or 9 to 5 with Swinging Senorita. She's coming in sharp. Atlas Hanover is a long shot, but Atlas Hanover's got the rail and the jug eliminations. Walk on the Moon is back in. He's got a big week, doesn't he? He made a break in Scioto, then won in Delaware on Sunday, and is back in Thursday. I'm sure he'll handle it just fine. So, and that's our jug week experience. So, a big few days coming for the stable. A big week coming, because right after the jug is Crantini with the $1 million race. I had one of our clients, friend of mine, say today, you can sound optimistic about the 10 hole, but the rate of victory from the 10 hole is like 4.5%. Okay, so here's a little thing about numbers for all you numbers people out there. They're wonderful, and you can conform them however you want. You can make it as black and white as you want. 4.5% of the 10 hole starters win 4.5% of the time. Okay. How many of them are 2-year-olds racing against other 2-year-olds? How many of them are legit contenders from the 10 hole? That same percentage that you're using, right? We can dig into the percentages all you want, because I know one thing: the horse that was second last week in the Champlain, no excuses there. He had the 10 hole. The one thing people have to recognize and understand is that, sure, I can talk about how optimistic. I'm not happy to have the 10 hole, but I will tell you with absolute certainty, if you said, Anthony, you either have the 10 hole or the rail, all right, we'll take the 10 hole, please. Under no circumstances did I want to see 1, 2, or 3 pop up. North of 4. 4 and north is what I said. We got as far north as you can get. That's the way it is. The first turn at Mohawk is 1/8 of a mile after the start. The gate is staggered at Mohawk, right? We have a 2-year-old that absolutely belongs in that class. We have 1/8 of a mile to the first turn, and he doesn't have to race from the front end. But if they choose to leave, he has a head start because it's a staggered gate, and he has 1/8 of a mile to the first turn. It's not like the Meadowlands where the turn is on you there. It's right there. It's not like that. Totally different situation. I'm not telling you, oh, thank God, yay, we drew the 10 hole. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that 4.5%, you might want to dig into that a little bit, because it worked just fine for Better, whatever his name is. Something bet, winner's bet. That race last week, finished second. And he was beat fair and square, but the 10 hole didn't play a role. Not that much of one. I don't think it would have been much of a different race had he drew 6. So before we all get down in the dumps and start boo-hooing and crying to one another, recognize one thing. I'm happy where I am, as long as we're not on the rail. I don't love the 10 hole, but it's not also, oh, there goes our money. We're going to get a chance to race. We're going to get a fair shot. And we're going to get a chance to show, and he's going to get a chance to show what kind of horse he is. And that's that. So, that is my take on Crantini's race, as real and as honest as you can get. No, I don't want the 10 hole, but I absolutely don't want the rail. And that 4.5% isn't as accurate as you think it is, because it's one number looking at all the races. It's not looking at 2-year-olds lined up with 2-year-olds. It's not taking into account horses that are 5 to 1 or less, leaving the 10 hole in with the same types of horses. He's going to be 10 to 1. But he's got a shot. And that's all we can ask for in racing, anytime. We were 9 to 1 with the rail last week and made a break. Now we'll try it from the other side of the gate. Anyway, we're having a great year. I say this all the time. We're having a great year. We're having a great summer. We're having a great week. we're far from done at the stable. We got lots of racing. Good luck to the 5 fish species group tonight. Good luck to the massive profit group tonight. Talk to you all tomorrow. Take care.